Good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. Grab yourself something to sip on while we talk about the destruction of America, because we may as well have coffee while we watch this, right? I was watching, I'm sure you all have watched the news. You see some of the things that happened last night. I was flipping through my YouTube feed, and I saw that, and I don't remember what channel it was. Doesn't matter because I didn't watch the video, but I did. I just noticed some of the titles of the videos, and one of them said, "We now," something to the effect of, "We now have a front row seat to see communism fail," and I'm sure they were referring to Mamdani's victory in New York. Well, that's interesting, but if you look at communism and you see how long it takes it to fail, if you look at the Soviet Union, from the Russian Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution until it finally collapsed, that failure takes a long time, and millions of lives are lost, and millions more lives are destroyed while communism fails. So this is not going to be something fun to watch. It's not going to be something to sit back and go, ha ha ha, look at this. This is funny. No, no, this is going to be horrendous to watch. So we don't have we might have a front row seat to see communism fail, but we have a seat even in the row before that to watch the destruction of America continue. Okay, that's for the people that say the destruction of America started way back when. Yes, I know. I can make a case for many dates in the past, but we are seeing the destruction expedited. This morning I put up on the Patreon channel, and if you're not with us on the Patreon channel, the link's down below. I'd suggest you come on over because I put a lot of stuff up over there that I don't put on YouTube. And today, and I always start the day with a quote, whether it's an inspirational quote or a quote of warning or a scripture or something. And today's quote was something to the effect. It's not necessary. It's a famous thought, though not necessarily a famous quote. It is that a great civilization is never conquered from without until it has destroyed itself from within. And I don't remember who said it. It's not a common. It's not one of those like George Orwell or Jefferson or anything like that. But that is true, and so we are seeing the continuation and as far as I'm concerned, the acceleration of the destruction of America. And what I mean by that, if you take a look at a couple of things, Mamdani in New York City, he is now the new mayor. He is a communist Muslim, and you cannot be both, um, because Islam is not a communist theology. Is not really a theology at all, but I'm not going to get into that. But he is masquerading. He is getting this, and he's now the mayor of the largest city in the United States, the most powerful city, many would argue, in the world. And one interesting thing that stood out to me is when I was watching the returns, is that 81% of females under 30 voted for Mamdani. Let me take a sip while you think about that. Now, we are a representative republic, not a democracy, but of course the representative republic operates on a democratic form. And that means that the people who are voting, and I know, I know all they cheat. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll say something about that. I'm tired of people blaming things on cheating. Well, I'll just stick this in. I used to tell my fighters, don't if you lose a match, if you lose a fight on points, don't blame your opponent for cheating, and don't blame the referees. If you'd knocked them out or if you had choked them out, then you wouldn't have left it up to a decision. So work harder, fight harder. Don't blame the cheating. Okay. Because that's just a whiner's response to losing. Um, But if you look at the fact that 81% of females under 30 voted for Mom Donnie, that's your answer to who's running this country. And I don't necessarily mean females under 30, I mean the uninformed. Okay. Our founders told us that our republic could only survive uh, as a result of an informed citizenry. And we don't have that anymore. You're informed, I'm informed, many people who join us here are informed. But we are the minority, and we have to understand that, and we have to prepare for what's going to come. Not only has Mom Donnie won the New York, and it's going to be just, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting. I told Mark, my buddy Mark, yesterday, I said, I almost hope that Mom Donnie wins. And so also that idiot up in Minneapolis, doesn't look like he's going to win, Omar Fateh, whatever his name is. Doesn't look like he's going to pull it out. We will see. We will see. But Minnesota's, still sliding down a hill. But I said I almost hope so that we can see, so that the countries can see the destruction that comes as a result of communist leadership. Well, that's I don't really wish that. We're going to see it, and so the destruction that's going to result from this in New York is, I think, beyond anything that we right now can imagine. Right now, we're going to say it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Going to be horrible. Well, it's going to decline. That city and the life in New York is going to decline slowly, slowly, slowly until probably 3 years from now. We're going to have trouble remembering how good things were now. We will see. But it was not only Mom Donnie. In Virginia, you saw that the guy who won Attorney General is the one who wished death on the children of his Republican opponent. Forget this guy. Jay Jones is his name. Jay Jones. And he said sometime back that he's the one that said if I had two bullets and his opponent, whatever his name was, and Hitler and Stalin or somebody like that, were standing there, and he had a choice of who to shoot, his opponent would get both bullets. And he also wanted to see the guy's children die in their parents' arms. And this is, I mean, how do you get more disgusting than that? And this guy won. And it was made, everybody knew it. It's been in the news for he said this. And then he came by, oh, I'm sorry I said that. What kind of a mind even conjures that thought? Okay. This is an evil mind. And the inability of the American public to recognize evil when they see it is, of course, just another brick in the wall of well, it's not building a wall. It's taking another brick out of the wall of America, out of the country. And it's expediting its collapse. So he won, Attorney General. Another interesting race in Virginia was the lieutenant governor. Was elected. She's a Muslim female who gives speeches in Arabic, and does it in front of a sign that said "We are all called to be Muslim" or something like that, or I forget what it is. But this is just another example. Now, it would be nice to see, to be able to say, well, not nice, because it's horrible when any part of our country starts to collapse like this. But we can't just say that, well, it's the East Coast. Okay? We can't just say it's the Northeast. This stuff is happening all over in lesser degrees, because, what happens in Two Corners, Iowa, doesn't make the news of what happens in New York City. But it's happening all across the country. And so we are seeing, I believe, the destruction of America. These are simply the latest canaries that have expired, and they are the warnings to the rest of us that this is coming. How many times? I mean, for years I've mentioned Glubb's Fate of Empires, and the fact that most empires, collapse after 250 years. We're coming up on our 250, right? Right on schedule. And while many people are consumed with what's going on around the world, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, or what's going on with Israel, or what's going on with Venezuela, or what's going on with the price of tea in China. Uh, this is our immediate threat here, and most people are turning a blind eye to it because most people won't even vote. You see, these things are the result of voting. And the other side mobilizes, and they are very organized. And they are organized across the whole country, and we're going to see this. They're gearing up for the off year elections, and we're going to see this spread. While on the other side, the more conservative side, uh, conservatives aren't at all uh, organized or unified. More people on the so-called right are too busy taking shots at Trump to work against the enemy that's right in front of us that's actively destroying our country. And so you can blame the enemy, but also, like I say, blame the people who are on the rope but aren't pulling, right? Or hanging on the log instead of lifting it up. I've said many years ago, even though this is a positive channel, and I remain positive, I want to say that. I remain positive because I am determined that no matter what happens to the world around me, I'm going to continue to live a high quality life, and I'm going to make sure that my family does too. And people might say, well, how if the whole world collapses, how can you be sure that you're going to be able to live well and your family? Well, that's what I wrote my books about. Okay, that's what I wrote my book. You can't control what happens in the world. You cannot control the big things. You can control your world, and you can do it if you're smart and if you're determined to. And I think, right as I said that, I thought about so many of these other channels that are always whining and complaining about, oh, poor me, things are happening, and this is terrible, and this and that, and the other thing. Well, the world can go to hell. It's up to you whether you go with it. It's as simple as that. So we're seeing the destruction of our country. Whether you see the destruction of yourself or your family is entirely up to you. And that's what preparedness is about. You see the threat and you prepare to deal with the threat. Okay. And that, very, very, very simple, although not necessarily easy. Okay. And what I mean by that is simplicity means not complicated. Those things. You have to be self-sufficient. Okay? You have to be able to live outside the system. Although I'm not saying that you should live outside the system, you have to be able to. Okay, the system. I don't live outside the system. I have no desire until it's absolutely necessary to live out totally separated from the system, because the system has a lot of good things that Western society has worked centuries to develop. Okay, a lot of good things, and 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 I'm not going to so I'm not going to say that I don't like to go to, have my pick of grocery stores or go to nice restaurants or have a quick trip down the block or a Walmart or anything like that, or great, health care. Yeah, I think those are great. Those are things we work for, I turn on a switch and lights come on in my house. And I turn on the furnace and it gets warm. And I turn on the air conditioning and it gets cool. And I like the life that I live and have worked for. And I'm sure most of you do too. So no, I'm not one of those who promotes the idea that you should separate yourself from all the amenities right now. No, use them to help you build your ability to be able to live without them when and if the time comes. Okay, and right now there are a lot of things going on, a lot of opportunities for you to be able to strengthen your position. You should always be strengthening your position. Okay. So how do you do that? Well, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to throw in to show you our sponsor, like I always do, and that's the Stonemont series, my books. I wrote these books as a way to teach people how to prepare, how to build a life so that they can live well, totally separated from the system. It's a book about it's a series, 7 books: the reversion, the revival, the renewal, on appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, hostages to fortune, and on wings like eagles. It is a story of a family, a prepared family, who, as the result of their preparedness, was able to not only continue, not just survive, but continue living a high quality life after the collapse of everything, and was able to help other people and rebuild community the way it ought to be built. People say that it's the best post-apocalyptic preparedness survival series they've ever read. I thank them for saying that, so that I could say that, so I could let you know. And if you have an interest in preparedness, or you just like a great post-apocalyptic series, which is a positive series. The guy that wrote the foreword in my first couple of books said this is an unbelievably positive story about an unbelievably negative situation. Well, that's kind of what we're going through now. We're seeing unbelievably negative things happen, but how you deal with them and what happens in your life is entirely up to you. So if you haven't read them, I suggest this is going to give you a whole new perspective on preparedness and on your life and separating yourself from the system. You can get them a couple different ways. The first is through Amazon. That link's down below. You can get them a better way, the way that I love you to get them, and that is directly from me through our website, stonemont.us, and that link is also down below. When you get them from me directly, I sign each one for you. I write a note in each one to you, and then you can also buy the whole set as a set through our website. You can't do that through Amazon. You save a few bucks because we save money when we ship them like that. And I toss in the Stonemont notebook for you to write in all your plans on how to separate from the system. So get them. It'll change the way you think about preparedness, and about the way you think probably about the way things are going now. You will want to construct your own Stonemont, and that's exactly when people say, what should I do to prepare for anything? I say, build your own Stonemont. Build your own Stonemont. And then the world can go to hell, like I said, but you don't have to go with it. So we're getting into interesting times. Interesting times are full of dangers and opportunities, and you need to be aware of both, so that you can avoid or mitigate the first, and and capitalize on the second. Okay, all right. Well, you all have a good day. I'm drinking out of my Mary Stonemont Christmas mug here, but let me pick up another one because it has the message that I always end with, that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Pay attention to what's going on. Prepare, because the slide of America is accelerating if something doesn't happen. Okay. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.